Before I get into this video, I do want to vehemently shout out the creators who made this video possible, that being The Beak and Miko here on YouTube.
If you asked me what I thought about Creepshow Art a few months ago, I would probably tell you something along the lines of, I don't really watch her content, but it's not like I have anything against her or any reason to dislike her. If anything, I would probably say that I was somewhat grateful. Reason being, a few months ago she made a video on Minilad in which she spoke about the whole Sarah stuff. In that video, she actually gave me and my friend Miko a shout out because we were the ones to find all of that information. Keep in mind though, this is my opinion of Creepshow Art from a few months ago. If you were to ask me the same question today, I'd give you a very different answer. Now, disclaimer here, this video does talk about some things that could be upsetting to some people watching, so viewer discretion is advised. Moving on from that, lots of information in this video is highly speculative, especially one part of this video, so it should be taken with quite a big grain of salt. Lastly, this video is by no means an advocation for either side of the story, as I have quite a few problems with both sides of it. All I'm doing is breaking down the provided information from both sides, because this is the right thing to do when stories like these come up. With all that being said though, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see some more, and if you want, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. Keeping a very long story short, as this is something that is spoken about in nearly every single video on this topic, Creepshow Art is a humongous art commentary YouTuber, meaning that she's a part of the broad YouTube commentary scene. But instead of having gameplay or moving images in the background of her videos, her background is a video of her drawing something. And that's all that needs to be said about who Creepshow Art is. So with all of these introductions and very nice pleasantries out of the way, I think it's time to dig into the meat and potatoes of this situation. If you delve down the Creepshow Art rabbit hole at the moment, I'm sure you'll hear about a website known as Lolcow. What is this strange website with quite a silly name though? Lolcow is an online platform that allows you to post things anonymously. Big emphasis on anonymously. Considering that there is this anonymous aspect, lots of individuals feel that they can post whatever they want without having to deal with the consequences of what they've typed. Mainly because, well, who can prove that it was you who typed it? This does sound like it's the case. But of course it isn't. If you're a normal, pretty average user of Lolcow, you can't see who writes things. Though, if you're an admin or staff on the website, you can find out exactly who typed something. Now, Lolcow, within all of the chaos and pandemonium that's on that website, it does have some rules to it. If you break these rules, well then your protective shield of anonymity, it can be completely revoked by the admins. How does all of this come back to Creepshow Art though? Well, you see, our good pal Creepshow, she decided that it would be an absolutely brilliant idea to talk very badly, to put it lightly, about some other very popular YouTubers. That, and she would apparently fabricate fake arguments with herself, and worst of all, self-promote her video. All jokes aside for a moment, it doesn't take a genius to realize that talking badly about other very popular YouTubers, especially to the magnitude that Creepshow Art did it, it isn't going to go over well. So, of course, it didn't go over very well. So much so that the mods decided to revoke her anonymity, because, according to them, she broke some of the very important Lolcow global rules. Now, of course, this wasn't going to remain an isolated issue, mainly because when stuff like this comes out on the internet, it spreads like wildfire. Creepshow Art has been enveloped in an inferno of her own making. So in order to try to quell the flames a little bit, she resorted to releasing an incredibly long community post on her YouTube channel. I'm not going to read out this entire thing, but to summarize this post, Creepshow Art denies all of the Lolcow stuff, stating that it wasn't her doing it. No, it was in fact a completely different person, who Creepshow has given a pseudonym, Amy. How could Amy do this though? How could Amy have access to Creepshow Art's Lolcow account in the first place? Was Creepshow Art hacked? Kind of, but not exactly. According to Creepshow Art, Amy had actually spoofed her IP. More on this in a little bit, giving her access to Creepshow's entire Lolcow account. Moreover, this Amy wasn't some new addition to the Creepshow cinematic universe. No, besides posting on Lolcow, this Amy person was creating fake spam accounts that would either spam Creepshow's comment section or the comment sections of her friends, was revealing personal information about Creepshow and her family, and most importantly, this Amy individual, she had apparently been actively stalking Creepshow Art for years. An individual known as Emily Artful, another member of the art commentary scene, came out with quite a crazy statement against Creepshow Art very soon after Creepshow released her initial community post. The main point of this statement being that this Amy character, she never existed, yet she did. You see, Amy, she's apparently not some very obscure character in this entire story. No, Amy, she was Creepshow Art all along. And all of the things Creepshow was saying that Amy was doing to Creepshow, Creepshow was actually doing to Emily. According to Emily, she was the one being stalked for years, and her stalker's name was Creepshow Art. To add even more fuel to this new fire, Emily Artful came out with a 2-hour long video against Creepshow, in which she goes into detail about her side of the story and provides some apparent damning screenshots to show that Creepshow and her husband, they've been actively stalking her. Now, as I said in the intro of this video, I have problems with both sides of this story, and I'm not gonna hide that fact. Firstly, this video, it shouldn't be 2 hours long. Yes, I'm not going to deny this fact. There's some incredibly important information about this whole situation housed within this video. Though if you take all of the important information out of this video, it could be less than an hour long. Mainly because the majority of this video, it isn't really directed at Creepshow Art. It's more about Emily's ex-boyfriend or husband, Anthony, somebody who has apparently done lots of bad things to Emily. But in the context of Emily versus Creepshow Art, he's more of a side character. This is the case because by Emily's own statement, Anthony, he was apparently the original instigator of this entire stalking thing. But moving down the line of this issue, Creepshow became the main person involved, and is still the main person involved. While doing research for this video, of course I had to watch all 2 hours of this video, and after watching it I can say, like many others have been saying, all of the juicy, in quotation marks, stuff about Creepshow Art, it's in the last 30 minutes of the video. So if you've structured your entire video around Creepshow Art and all of the stuff Creepshow Art has apparently done to you, why put all of that evidence at the end of the video? I also really don't like the way Emily and the majority of the larger art commentary community handled this situation afterwards, specifically comparing the YouTuber Nicholas Diorio to Emily's ex-boyfriend Anthony, the guy who had done all of the really bad stuff to Emily. After Nicholas Diorio went onto a very confrontational stream with the YouTuber Peanut Gallery, in which he justifiably discussed his problems with Emily's 2-hour-long video, the art commentary community, they decided to go absolutely mental against Nick, when all he said was that he didn't like the 2-hour-long video. Credit to Emily though, she did later apologize to Nick, though lots of the larger art commentary community, they're still going after him. All in all then, this entire situation, It's pretty mental. So I will be linking Emily's 2-hour-long video in the description of this video. Though if you don't want to watch the entire 2 hours, I will be linking a very good summary of this entire video made by a friend of the channel, Ripped Chair Entertainment. The majority of people in this situation are against Creepshow Art, which has led to lots of people digging into her previous statements to see how well they add up. I've done this too, and let me tell you, I reckon that Creepshow, her story doesn't really make that much sense. When somebody is caught in a lie, what they like to do, if they aren't going to own up to lying, is to spin more lies in order to try to make their original lie or lies sound better or more plausible. The thing with this though, is that the more lies you tell, the harder it is to tell more lies. The more impulse lies you make to cover your behavior, the risk of contradiction of your original lies grows even more. Eventually, this web of lies you have spun, it will be your downfall. And you will get caught up in your lying. This is the exact thing that has happened to Creepshow Art. As soon as she came out with her community post, her story, it became unglued. Creepshow Art, her whole brand was of a wholesome and down-to-earth person who just wanted to draw a few things and talk about a few things. Sounds quite noble and almost admirable, but this image, it may have just been a facade. You see, fake wholesomeness, this is the first of Creepshow's many lies. Mainly because if you were to go onto an anonymous website and talk super badly about other YouTubers, you aren't very wholesome now, are you? I'm not going to sit here and waffle on about, oh, how could somebody fake being wholesome? Because the answer, it's painfully obvious. If you portray yourself as incredibly wholesome, people, they'll view you as wholesome, meaning that you'll get more support and attention. People, they'll be more open to siding with you in issues, as, of course you're not in the wrong, you're such a good person. Being wholesome, it's incredibly good for your brand, and I'm pretty sure Creepshow knew this. The issue of fake wholesomeness, it isn't solely a Creepshow Art issue. No, this lie is incredibly prevalent all over the internet. People feel that in order to succeed, they have to be a fake, wholesome caricature of something. Considering that the context of this video is Creepshow Art though, I'm going to keep this focused on Creepshow Art. If Creepshow is so willing to go behind her friends' backs and talk really badly about them, of course people aren't going to support somebody like this, especially people in the art commentary community. Why try to become close with somebody if all they're going to do is talk badly about you behind your back? For some reason, it seems like Creepshow Art, she doesn't really have a good experience with things in the IT department. Firstly, one of the main things regarding Creepshow's response to the Lolcow posts is the concept of IP spoofing. Oh, and apparently her YouTube channel got hacked a while ago, but the hackers only disabled her ability to make community posts. That, and they changed her banner to a weird glitch thing. Now, before I get into why these just don't make sense, I'm gonna explain the concept of IT spoofing. As the name implies, IP spoofing is when somebody spoofs your internet protocol address. This is a painfully obvious definition of IP spoofing that's been going around recently. So to go into more detail, imagine that you're driving a car on the motorway. You know exactly where you want to go and you know how you're gonna get there. But somebody wants to impersonate you at that destination. In order to do this, this imposter, well, they'll have to find out information about you, and they'll have to get to the destination before you do. In order to validate the imposter's story, firstly what they'll do is they'll find out where you started your journey and what car you drive. And after they do this, they'll send out the same exact car as yours. Same number plate, same color, same everything. In order to get there first, they're gonna have to overtake you. So to overtake you, the imposter decides to take another shorter road. And as this road is shorter, of course he'll get there first. Since he got there before you, as soon as you get to your destination, the people at the destination, they'll turn you away because in their minds, they've already helped you. Keeping all of this in mind, change the cars with your IP address and the destination as a network that you want to connect to. This is what IP spoofing is. It's when somebody impersonates your internet protocol address. Creepshow Art stated in her community post that all of these Lolcow posts, they weren't done by her. No, they were done by somebody called Amy. So let's say that this Amy person did indeed spoof Creepshow's IP. If Amy had her IP, something that can cause a bit of damage if it falls into the wrong hands, why would Amy only post about other YouTubers on an anonymous image board? If this person was so against Creepshow Art, surely if they had her IP address, at the very least they would DDoS her or something. You know, continuously take down her internet. Here's another thing. Creepshow's first Lolcow post was posted all the way back in 2018. So, let me get this straight. Yeah, if Creepshow is saying that all of these Lolcow posts were never made by her, this means that Amy has been actively spoofing Creepshow's IP for close on 3 years? If somebody decided to get your internet protocol address and only use it to say bad things anonymously on an image board for 3 years, I think that's one of the nicest ways to maliciously use somebody's IP. I really doubt that this Amy person, if they even exist, spoofed Creepshow's IP address for 3 years. I would be more inclined to believe this story if this Amy person only posted 1 or 2 posts about other YouTubers on Lolcow. But as I said earlier, Amy has been actively posting on Lolcow. Remember how I said that Creepshow Art had her YouTube channel hacked in quotation marks a few months ago, but all the hackers did was disable her community tab and change the background to a spooky glitch effect? Now this is just rubbish now, isn't it? When a YouTube channel gets hacked, the majority of the time either the creator's entire channel or a few videos get deleted or the titles of some videos change. This isn't the case. The hackers that got into Creepshow's YouTube channel, they must be some of the nicest hackers in the history of humanity. I know I'm harping on a lot, but the only things that changed were her profile image and channel banner. Now this may seem far off for me to say, so just bear with me. But maybe Creepshow was the one who changed her profile picture and banner. I mean, imagine if that was the case. The last little bit of interesting information regarding Creepshow Art and the Lolcow posts is what she said to some of her friends regarding them wanting to possibly defend her. She apparently made it very clear that they should not defend her. Now, if this isn't an admission of guilt, I don't know what is. If you're innocent, why would you not want people in your corner to back you up? Why would you not want to have people taking some of the burden off of your shoulders? Her saying that her friends shouldn't defend her is one of the most incriminating things I have ever heard. Though maybe she said it in order to protect her friends from the fallout. Quite a noble statement, though this notion, it just isn't true. If Creepshow was so set in her ways about defending herself and protecting her friends, she sure done a bad job of that. She's completely left the internet, and the majority of her YouTuber friends, they've had to deal with the consequences of her actions. They've also had to face the misplaced wrath of the art commentary community, a community that is well known as being incredibly toxic and volatile. Loads of tweets directed towards Creepshow's friends aren't just negative, they're outright terrible, as it seems that the majority of people going after Creepshow's former friends can't understand that these people, they aren't defending Creepshow Art, they're merely pointing out flaws from the other side of the argument, which you're justifiably allowed to do. Creepshow is guilty of the Lolcow stuff, and her Amy story, it may just be a fabrication. The Amy in that story, it may even be Creepshow Art herself. In my opinion, this whole Creepshow stuff, I think it's just going to carry on for months, and I doubt we'll ever really get a proper answer. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think about all this stuff? Be sure to let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.